Hello, I'm Betta, Lyon, Delsordo, and I am an application penetration tester at OnDefend, which means that I'm an ethical hacker, so people hire me to hack them, and then I teach them how to protect themselves. And it's a pretty amazing career, and it started all the way back when I was 13 and started teaching myself to code. I got interested in technology, and I thought the coding language of JavaScript sounded interesting, so I started teaching that to myself, and in high school I started building websites for some small businesses in my hometown in Montana, where I'm from. And through high school and college, I kind of had a little freelance web development thing going where I'd build websites, and it was going well, but then my clients started asking me more security related questions, like how do I keep bots off my website, or how do I manage all my passwords, and also trying to start to learn how to build websites more securely and learn about application security. I realized there was so much out there I didn't know, and that security was actually a lot more interesting. So I started getting into that in college, and what really made me fall in love with that was that I interned with an ethical hacking firm, and I found out I was pretty good at web hacking because I, having built websites as a teenager, knew the types of gaps that I would leave in a website when I didn't have enough time to finish it, or certain things I didn't know, so I was able to exploit those in other people's websites. I just thought it was an amazing and fun career, and so I went all in on that route. I got my master's in cybersecurity from Georgia Tech, pursued a bunch of certifications with funding from the NSA through a certification program, and I went on to work for Coalfire as an application pen tester, and I'm currently at OnDefend as a pen tester as well. And I love my job. I think it's wonderful, and I want to encourage you all to pursue that route in offensive security if you're also headed that way. A typical day in my life as a professional in cybersecurity will typically involve, these days I'm going into an office. I'm actually working entirely in person because the client I'm with has some private source code that only my team is allowed to view for our research. So it's in a room where we go and it's very locked down. There's cameras on everything. We have to badge in through multiple doors. So obviously it's very monitored and secret because we're hackers, and they definitely want to watch what we're doing. And as we get access to different alerts that are in the source code, my job involves going through those different things that come up in scans. So it might be just little issues that we find or something that looks suspicious, and then we go through and analyze those. So I particularly love code review and looking across a bunch of different languages, getting to learn about different kinds of vulnerabilities that are there, just kind of mistakes that people leave, or anything that could be more malicious, like an insider threat, building something in the code that shouldn't be there, and then researching that and building out recommendations for the developers to fix that. And then we send those recommendations back to the developers and have to work with them to fix those. And determine, the priority. Is this something that needs to be fixed like right now, or could this wait a few weeks if it's not a huge issue? And just learning more and building tools to make our processes go faster, researching new technologies that the developers are using, learning how to make those better. So I really enjoy my job. And in other assessments, it depends on what type of client that I'm with, but I will also do more active pen testing. So in terms of web application pen testing, I'll use tools like Burp Suite, so I'll be able to intercept requests that are going from the web application back to me and change and tamper with values there. So trying to add malicious things, get the website to crash or reveal information that it's not supposed to, and then again writing reports for the developers to fix those, for the client to know what's the overall risk that their have in their application. They need to make changes to their development process, and trying to get those to the client as soon as possible and determine what's most important to fix. So it's a really exciting job, and it's something where you have to be always learning the newest technologies and learning how to fix them and hack them. So in my experience, the most challenging aspect of working in cybersecurity is just that learning curve of there's always so much to learn, and you have to know how to attack every new thing that's coming out. And that can feel kind of daunting, so that's why it's particularly important to specialize. You're just not going to be good at every single thing in cybersecurity. It's such a broad field. You can't do like law and pen testing and incident response and policy and malware analysis all at once. Like, you have to pick your one specialization. So for me, that's been pen testing, but then application security, and in that like more narrow specification there. So when I'm trying to learn something new, I might see like that the developers that I'm working with are using a new language. People are using a lot more Go and Rust now. Those are kind of more popular languages. So I will go out and start learning like what are some vulnerabilities that are in these new languages that haven't existed in previous languages. Or we're using a lot of AI and learning how to attack AI. So I've been learning a lot about that. I'm giving a presentation on AI hacking at the Women in Cybersecurity Conference in Dallas in March or April, early April coming up. So I'm very excited about that. And AI hacking involves kind of tricking an AI to do things that it's not supposed to do. So I find that particularly exciting, but it can also be a lot of work. You have to do kind of a lot of studying on your own time and keep just having that hunger and that interest to learn more. So if you're going to go that route and do these really intensive career paths like that, just be prepared that it's a continuous path of learning, which is really exciting for some people, but some people, that can be something they don't like. And I have seen threats evolve already over the time that I, started back as a teenager learning how to code and moving into a lot of the newer technologies that are out here. Like the old websites that I was building were in like raw HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and nowadays everyone uses frameworks, so something like React or Laravel or different things that are built on top of components that people have already written, which saves the developers a lot of work and in some ways can be more secure because you're using pre-made components that are hopefully already checked. Like you don't have to write authentication on your own, which is good. But there can also be problems there where people are just throwing in stuff that they haven't thought about. So that's where you see the issue of supply chain security. So people are pulling in open source projects from like GitHub, say, oh look, someone already built this authentication mechanism, this looks great, I'm just gonna throw it into my code. But if they haven't properly audited that or aren't updating it over time, someone could find a bug in that authentication system. And then because you're using it in your project is also vulnerable. So there's kind of a problem here of this web of vulnerabilities that stretch across all the open source projects that people are pulling into their applications. So that's another area of my job, is also looking at kind of any vulnerabilities that I might be able to find that are introduced through using other technologies. And then also AI is changing things as well. It makes my job a lot easier because I can rapidly kind of iterate on different attacks if I want to come up with maybe some different prompts to use, some different kinds of like fuzzing input. The AI is really good at helping me generate different kinds of things to work with. And also when I'm coding like my own tools to help me go faster, if I find like some error code that I haven't heard of or some message I'm not sure, the AI is super helpful for helping me debug my own code faster. So AI definitely helps me go faster, but I also see that it helps developers code faster, but also sometimes can give people, code that isn't secure. So don't trust everything an AI tells you. You should always double check anything you see. And a project or initiative that I've worked on that I found particularly impactful or rewarding was at my last employer, Coalfire, I built a tool, AI Secure Code Review, where I was using AI to help improve our code review process. So we had a lot of alerts that would come up. We had a very manual code review process that was just kind of scanning things, and you would have a crazy amount of alerts. A lot of them didn't matter. So I was using an AI to help us filter through the stuff that was most important and focus on that. And it got me into learning how to use like LangChain and RAG with a vector database. So I'm still working on projects like that now, building out new tools in that way, and it was a really amazing thing to learn how to use AI for pen testing. And the most important tip that I have for others on achieving success in cybersecurity is to make a plan for yourself and to specialize. So like I said earlier, you can't be an expert in everything. Cybersecurity is such a broad field. So if you go up to people and say, hey, I want to work in cybersecurity, they're going to be like, okay, what area of cybersecurity? And so you need to be known for some specific thing. You have to be that girl who really likes malware, or that kid who's really good at understanding cybersecurity laws. We don't know what that is that excites you, but you have to find that one thing that you are passionate enough about to spend a lot of time studying and getting good at. And eventually, if you get known for that and make your brand around something in particular, people will want to hire you for that specific thing, and you'll be able to make money in that field, advise others, and actually contribute in some specific thing. So encourage all of you to really narrow down and find something that is specific and that you can do over and over again. And then as you move through your career, you can start adding in more specializations and growing and changing, but as you're starting out, try to just pick one thing and get good at that one thing first. So I hope that was helpful, and I'm really excited for you all in your cybersecurity journey, and good luck to all of you.